My name is Muhammad Faizuddin Miroslan, and I as Mr. Faiz as project manager in the mock video.
Hi, my name is Nosara Amira as Environmental Impact Assessment Officer.
My name is SHAFI'E as a EIA officer.
Hello, my name is Cik Iskandar Rashidi bin Cik Din, and I am as a public representative as Encik Is.
What is EIA? EIA or Environmental Impact Assessment is a study to identify, evaluate and communicate information about the impact of a prescribed project on the environment. EIA is a mandatory regulatory procedure originated in the early 1970s with the implementation of the National Environment Policy Act (NEPA) 1969 in the US. Canada, Australia and New Zealand became the first country to follow NEPA in 1973 to 1974. Other developing countries such as France, Philippines and Netherlands also followed the Act in late 1970s. In Malaysia, the need for better environmental management was formally endorsed in the Third Malaysia Plan by Government of Malaysia in 1976 through Environment Quality Act (EQA). This act emphasised on control of pollution and taking remedial action. After a decade, EIA was introduced in April 1988 through the Environmental Impact Assessment Order by Deputy of Environment in 1987 as a mandatory legislative. It is modelled on National Environment Policy Act (NEPA). Extensive power to the Director General of the Environment to protect and enhance the quality of the environment through licensing, setting of standard, coordination of research and dissemination of information to the public. Purpose of EIA is to inform the decision maker and the public of the environmental consequences of implementing a proposed project. The objective of EIA include to identify, predict and evaluate the economic, environmental and social impact of development activities, to provide information on the environmental consequences for decision-making process, to promote environmentally sound and sustainable development through the identification of appropriate alternative and mitigation measures. EIA consists of few stages, which is screening, scoping, impact evaluation, EIA report, review, decision making and monitoring measure. EIA is formed with few principles apply, which is participation, which must include all parties, transparency, all decision and information should be accessible by all, certainty, the assessment should be agreed by all participants in advance, accountability, decision maker of all parties are responsible for their action, credibility, assessment is undertaken with professionalism and objectivity, cost effectiveness, assessment process and its outcome will ensure environmental protection with the least cost to society, flexibility, assessment process should be able to deal efficiently and practicality. Information from the assessment are usable in decision making and planning.
Welcome to all. Thank you to all for attending this meeting. Okay, today we are held a discussion for agricultural large-scale project that will be proposed by the Mr. Faiz. Okay, and here I'm Ms. Shafika as an EIA officer together with Ms. Sarah. Mr. Faiz as a project manager and Mr. Iskandar as a public representative for the indigenous people village. Okay, shall we start the discussion?
Yes, we can
Okay,
start.
let's start our discussion with Mr. Faiz as a project manager for this project.
So, firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Fazidin, or you can call me Mr. Faiz. So, firstly, for the agricultural product, we are trying to plant rock melon as the product. This is because rock melon is highly profitable. And why we choose Kampung Batu Tersepit as the location? This is because firstly it has cheaper price. The land has cheaper price compared to other location that we have surveyed, and then the location which is near with the river make it sufficient supply to support the project when watering the plant, and also the location that near with the main road reduce the transportation cost for this project. So the project is beneficial for the local people in Kampung Batu Tersepit. This is because we can boost the local economy, and also we can provide the job opportunity to the local people. And so about this project, we are estimately 500 hectare of land will be plant with rock melon, and we will use about 20,000 cubic meter of water from the river per day. So that's why we need the project to be near with the river. And I think that's it for the project. Thank you. So Mr. Iskandar, do you have anything to add?
Um, Hi, and I am Mr. Iskandar. I am chief from the Kampung Batu Tersepit. For your information, this village have up to 100 family with 300 members. And first of all, I want to say thank you to Mr. Faiz for proposing this project. As this project actually gonna give a lot of job opportunities to the local people. Actually, I got two questions, and the first one is uh, I would like to inform you that there is a small agricultural farm from a local people, and is there any implication to them as the construction are using the same water source from the farm itself?
Okay, so to answer this question, yes, we will occupy their small farm, but don't worry, we will give compensation for their loss during the agricultural construction. Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Faiz. And the second one is I would like to know that the large agricultural site will be built near to the population well-being of people, and I would like to know, is it okay for the construction to be that close to the uh, people?
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, it is okay, but how about we to confirm that we ask with our AIA consultant, Miss Sarah and Miss Shafiqah.
Okay, thank you for your question, Mr. Iskandar. Actually, as we know, the agricultural project will not cause any major effect to the residential area because the agricultural project will not involve any pollution at the noise or soil pollution toward the residential. So air pollution also will not occur. So I think it will not affect the people in the residential. So I think you do not have to worry about this problem, Mr. Is.
Thank you, Miss Sarah, for the answer.
Okay, now, Assalamualaikum. My name is Miss Sarah, and I as the EIA officer. So today I will explain about this project more. Uh, about the EIA assessment. Okay, first is Encik Faiz actually could not approve your proposal because there are some major errors which is gonna cause environmental impact and also cause harmful toward the residential and the villages. First point is because the environmental impact will occur because, as we know, the agriculture activity have the life cycle, which is the production until the disposal. So for the disposal, you, Mr. Faiz, you did not state any particular or efficient wastewater plant for water discharge from the agriculture. As we know, agriculture water will contain many chemicals from pesticide and also fertilizer. Okay, the second one is because the specification that you state in your proposal and also that you have mentioned before. Um, okay, actually your specifications, we have to do further investigation for your project, which is the first one is because it's more than 500 hectare, and then it's also exceed more than 4,500 cubic meter per day, which is it gonna we need further investigation to approve this proposal. And the third one is because deforestation, as we know, your project will take around 500 hectare of land, which is a large number that we cause. So I think this area is full of forest, so you must done the deforestation before you proceed with your project. So my suggestion is first you can provide a better wastewater plan, so we can go through with the plan and we can give some comment to approve the wastewater plan that you made. And the second one is maybe we will discuss more about the specification uh, uh, to investigate more about your large number of land and large number of meter cubic water used per day. And then for deforestation, I think you have to discuss with the villages and ask for their permission because deforestation forest is one of the major resource for them. So I think that's the better ways. And then okay, Miss Pea, do you have any opinion or do you agree with my suggestion?
Okay, I agree with you, Miss Sarah. Because of the project, will affect the activity of the people in the village and also its. Are you agree with the suggestion to change the proposal according to the recommendation?
Okay, so I will look forward for the suggestion given and will correct the proposal according to your suggestion. Thank you for all of your opinion. Okay.
Okay, Mr. East, do you agree with this suggestion?
Yes, I do agree with the suggestion, and thank you for all the answer. Thank you.
Okay, that's all for our discussion today. Okay, see you guys in the next meeting that will be arranged.
Next, I will continue with the project site and stakeholder that contribute in this agricultural large-scale project. First is project site. Then, in this figure, we can see the planning design for this project. This agricultural project will construct at Kampung Batu, Endau Rompeng, that involve around 500 hectares of land. The location specification of this project, which is why we choose the location as our project site. The first one is because the idle land. The idle land in this area has been abandoned for years and we will be use this land for plantation. This location is suitable for agricultural purpose because the resources are already provided. such as road connectivity that will use for transportation, water supply and energy power supply for farming activities and construction process. And the last one is the farming location near with the workers and farmer resignation area, which make it easier for them to come forward early in the morning. This is the stakeholder list that will involve within this project. The first one is Ministry of Agriculture and Agro-Based Industry Malaysia. The second one is Malaysia Organic Farming Association. The third one is Muda Agricultural Development Authority. The fourth one is the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations FAO. The fifth one is Faculty of Agro-Based Industry, UC Malaysia Kelantan. And the last one is the Malaysia Technical Cooperation Program, MTCP.
Screening. These agricultural projects are classified as indicative threshold, which means it doesn't need a full EIA report, and this project just need to be assessed case by case for EIA requirement. According to the Sabah Protection Enactment 2005, this project is listed in first schedule category. As the impact of the project to environment are known to be low and moderate impact. Also because it is related to forestry, agricultural, and hydrological activity which lists under the first schedule. Other than that, it also categorized as first schedule because this agricultural farm covering area of 100 hectares or more but less than 500 hectares. As for public involvement regarding on project screening, there are several things highlighted by public representative that need to be concerned either before, during, or after concentration start, such as wastewater management and road safety during construction. Here, screening table consists of deforestation, transportation, and pesticide management. And the potential for deforestation are low, and for transportation also low. For pesticide management is high. According to Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute, MARDI 1969 Act 11, pesticide must contain more than 50% of organic substance in the pesticide to sustain environment health. Scoping. Scoping consists of proposed action and resource. Based on the scoping metric table, which involve deforestation, transportation, and pesticide management, there are several factors being surveyed and evaluated, such as health, downstream water pollution, forestry, aquatic plant, spawning of fish, tourism, and archaeology artifact. For the resource, deforestation, transportation, and pesticide management. And the proposed action consists of help downstream water pollution, forestry, aquatic plant, spawning of fish, tourism, archaeological artifact. Each of deforestation, transportation, and pesticide management got a different scoping metric score, and the only concern goes to pesticide management as it has highest score of scoping metric. For pesticide management, it will have to change the type of pesticide used to avoid any further damage. And as for suggestion, focusing more on water and soil treatment.
For better explanation of this agricultural landscape project, I will continue with basic impact and mitigation measure of this project. The impact and mitigation will be divided into three main points, which are biological, chemical, and physical impact. For the biological impact, the first point is loss of biodiversity and destruction of natural habitat that caused by clearing of vegetative area to expanding land for construction and irrigation agriculture that lead to loss of biodiversity. For the mitigation, it can prevent by avoid the clearing and construction within the key sensitive habitat such as wetlands and culture protected area, and also buffer the spatial sensitive and ecological important habitat to prevent habitat destruction. For the second biological impact is destruction of breeding ground that caused by increase of water pollution. The fish are bred in the upstream part of the river to avoid other fish predators, but the increase in pollution that happened due to the use of fertilizer and other agrochemicals has affected the breeding site of the fish that lead to the death. The mitigation that can apply to avoid the impacts are conserve riverbank area for fish breeding and also apply soil and water conservation measure to minimize seepage and runoff of chemicals in water bodies. This mitigation maybe cannot reduce the water pollution, but it will not cause increasing in water pollution. Next, for chemical impact, the first point is negative environmental impact that caused by chemical insecticide and pesticide. These chemicals are very prevalent and some of them may affect the soil, insect, bird, fish, and human. The mitigation that can be conducted are create a pesticide control body in the government to control the uses of pesticide among the farmers. Then, wider training in integrated pest management and on-farm field demonstration on packaging, labeling, and use of authorized chemical to ensure that there are no any excessive use of pesticide that can bring negative impact. The second impact is river pollution, which is eutrophication that caused by excess of phosphorus that deposit resultant from concentration waste such as sediment from the earthwork and also oil and fuel from machineries into rivers, or maybe can caused by heavy use of agricultural chemicals. And then for the mitigation, ensure adequate and regular check on the equipment used to ensure they are well maintained and in good working condition to prevent lacking oils and fuel. Then apply sediment control procedure to prevent sediment returning into the river. And the last one is uses of the right chemical type in right quantities to avoid eutrophication. The last point is for physical impact. The first point, physical impact, is soil compaction that caused by the use of heavy machineries and increased traffic during the construction work is likely to lead to compaction of the soil structure, which may leading to reduced soil infiltration capacities and subsequently resulting in increased runoff. The increase of runoff may lead to soil erosion. So the mitigation that can proceed with minimize the heavy machinery movements, avoid unnecessary vehicular and machinery movement, and last one is reclaim and revegetate excavation site once the work is completed. Then for the second point is generation of solid waste and wastewater. The value addition of agricultural produce will result in generation of both solid waste and wastewater, which may have negative impact unless properly managed by the farmers. So the mitigation that can conduct appropriate waste management for both solid and wastewater need to build before proceed with the agricultural activities, and also educate and sensitize the population of the farmers and villagers on be mindful of and responsible for their own environment. That's all for the impact and its mitigation.